Draconian.
Oh, draconian is another reptoid species, but they tend to look more like a crocodile or an alligator. So they got a long snout, dark green skin. Some of the higher echelons can have wings, can be winged. Some of them can be very tall. As a species, they tend to be the a-holes of the galaxy and very aggressive. Their main tactic and strategy is fear, and so they love to make people feel like they're super strong, super terrifying. Oh, they're so powerful, we can't possibly beat them, but they bleed like everything else. And so once we started to understand that their main tactic was to make us feel intimidated, we became less intimidated. So they're not so much of an issue. I mean, they're militarily challenging, but we have certainly met them in the field of battle and won. So.
These indigenous reptoids, what was the language like?
Well, I think the most important distinction is they have a different tongue and a different palate. So the sounds that we make, we may not think about it, are very unique to our tongue and our palate. They're sounds that are biologically distinctive to what the physiology of our mouth and our tongue and our lips can do. So in the same way, the sounds that they make for their language really are dependent on that biological relationship, again, between mouth, teeth, tongue, palate, and so forth. I would say a lot of their language involved sort of guttural sounds, some kind of hissing sounds, as well as clicks. It's important to note that if I were to say anything in their language, even though you wouldn't hear it, I would be saying it with a Terran accent because I can't actually make the exact sounds because I don't have the same tongue and the same palate. But their name for the planet is not Mars. We call it Mars. They call it Galuka.
Wow. Very deep.
Yeah, and again, to be honest, I'm saying that very badly. So if an indigenous reptoid were here saying that, if heard me say that, he'd look at me sideways and go, because they hate it when we mispronounce their words.
Did you talk and communicate a lot with them using vocal?
They mostly spoke in English, to be honest with you, again, with an accent because of the tongue and the palate, and their English was actually pretty good. And I learned a few words, but we were not encouraged to speak their language because they're very picky about pronunciation.